What is a full pack? Today we're going to be talking about an anime I didn't know that I was going to check out. But I ended up finishing it over a month. And the anime is Berserk, as you can tell by the title, of course. Berserk follows a character named Guts, and that's it. The 2016 version doesn't it have it's one of those shows that like have a bunch of different events in every episode. Like one episode will take place in a village, and then the next episode will take place in a field fighting off different things. It's kind of like uh, a Pokemon kind of anime. It's not like My Hero Academia where like each episode builds up to a greater story. Uh, in Berserk, at least the 2016 version, which is the one that I watched with the weird animation. We'll get into that. We'll get into um, the pros and cons, but this one was weird because it was like a anthology. I think it's an anthology where like if you picked up the anime on a random episode like middle of season 2, you wouldn't miss anything because it doesn't really, other than like random characters showing up in some episodes, and if you watch season 1 after season 2, um, you'd notice that characters are different. But other than that, other than the characters, nothing happens in this anime really, which I was kind of disappointed about because, um, thank you to Ethan Does Everything for getting me hooked on this anime because he constantly talks about what Griffith did to Casca, and I was like, oh shit, there's a dark story behind it. The anime is dark. This is the darkest anime I've watched, but it's not. It doesn't give you much. But anyway, so with that being said, with this being an anthology anime, I can't talk about much because each episode is like different from the other because there's like different enemies in each episode. There's just it's just a random anime. It is just like a bunch of random journeys. Like it's one continuous journey, but the journey usually happens at the end of each season. So this series follows Guts, and a fairy. I forgot what the fairy's name is, but basically, Guts is a master swordsman, and he's a prophecy that everybody knows. Everybody fears him because he's quote the bad guy. But we'll get into why that's just not true. And he is in the series starts off with him in a forest, surrounded by like a bunch of goblins, and then he takes them out, and then he goes to a village, and this is the only time that I think this series, certain episode, this episode 2, actually matters. Like there's like 1 or 2 episodes in the entire series that actually matter to the journey. And so I'm just going to mention those episodes. Again, it's hard. It's hard to do a review on an anime like this. But he picks up this kid. Now, he doesn't pick him up. This kid, he has like short hair, ginger. Nobody cares. I forgot his name. Fuck, what's his name? I don't know. But Ginger. We're just gonna call him Ginger. Ginger is like following the Black Swordsman, but then eventually Guts. Guts is the name of the Black Swordsman, just so where there's transparency. The next episode that actually matters is Guts gets captured by Lady Fernese. I remember that name because it's like said so many times to the point where it gets annoying. But again, we'll get into that. So yeah, Guts is captured by Lady Fernese. And I don't remember how this happens, but Fernese and Guts end up in a mansion, which is like guarded by a bunch of hellhounds, basically. I think, if I remember, Guts. Okay, Guts gets out of his binds because he was captured because he's the Black Swordsman, and they heard the commotion from him fighting a bunch of goblins, and then they're like, "Oh, it's the Black Swordsman! Get him!" And then obviously he's public enemy number one, and yeah, so they're doing that. Guts gets out of his confines and sees Lady Fernese whipping herself. I don't know. I think what I took from it was that, I don't know, because they play it off like she enjoys that type of stuff, but also I'm like, is that to show toughness? Sorry, I yawned. I don't know why I'm tired. Is that just to show like toughness and like train her body to take a bunch of hits? But Guts, Guts takes her into hostage, takes a horse. They ride to a mansion. Why Guts needs her, I don't know. I think it was just to have a one-up on the village, so then he's not followed to the mansion. But yeah, so they get to the mansion, they kill hellhounds, they get into the mansion, and this is the first time we see Guts actually be a cool person, because he lets her roam free. She's naked, by the way. Why she's naked? Because why not, I guess. But I do kind of like that they don't show like nipples or anything. So then it's not just porn. But it's still porn. Let's be honest. But so basically what happens is Lady Fernese is walking around the mansion. I thought it was like, it's either a school or a mansion. I forgot which one. But she sees this old man. And he is being fucking weird. He's mad that they killed a bunch of his dogs. And he's just super creepy. She gets a little bit freaked out, or he gets clingy, and he shows that he's in love with Fernese because she shows him a little bit of kindness. And he's like, oh my god, yes, please, come, please, be mine, be mine. So then they start fighting. She gets whipped into some weird empty room, and a bunch of the dogs come in. And this is when I knew that this anime was going to get super, super bad. The dogs, the hellhounds, pin her to the ground and then proceed to lick her boobs. Yeah, this anime is certainly something. They don't penetrate her though, which is good. Glad that didn't happen. But it's still insane. It's just crazy. Yeah, so that happens. Obviously Guts saves her. He's like trying to walk with her, and or after killing the things, he's like grabbing her arm and pulling her to like get a move on, and then I think she like breaks free from him, and then she lands on him, and then they just randomly start almost fucking, which the more I'm talking about this anime, the more it sounds like just fucking hentai. I swear, it's not hentai. This is actually what happens in 2016. So then their journey continues. Guy, I forgot his name. We're gonna call him Brisk because his eyes are constantly closed. We call him Brock. Let's call him Brock. He gets there. Him and the swordsman start fighting. Fernese tells him to back off. Guts brings Fernese back to the village, but he has a condition. If you guys follow me, I'll come back and kill Lady Fernese. So then he goes on to his journey, and the kid is following. The reason the kid wants to follow Guts is because of the sword. Because they had a deal that if Guts dies, the kid will get the sword. Which, dude, you're like 4 foot, not even. You're not going to be able to pick up the sword. But, so yeah, then we get an interesting episode that doesn't follow Guts. Forgive me if I'm doing this out of order. It's kind of hard to remember because I've been watching this anime for a month, so it's like I'm not gonna remember everything. So yeah, sorry, God, I can't think straight, dude. I need help. I'm kidding. I don't know, guys. I'm sorry, but I love this anime. Okay, let's just talk about this. So, this I thought was just gonna be a random episode about being fucking weird, but again, this is where shit starts to get weird, dude. This is a very dark anime, but it follows a bunch of girls in a tent, and they just live in this little tent. I don't remember any of the names other than Casca. But I don't remember her original name. Casca, whatever. She has 2 names, essentially. And the main girl, the mother figure of Casca and company, she is a prostitute. Yeah. So she gets fucked by a lot of guys. Thankfully, they left the children alone for the most part. Just saying. The only thing I will say. But, yeah, so at least it's not rape. Like it was the thing I just mentioned. When I heard people talking about this anime being dark, I was not expecting it to be rape. But anyway, so then they're doing that. The main girl, or the second main girl who's blonde, I forget her name. But she has like a poodle-like haircut. We're gonna call her Poodle. She is in love with the boy. She's not supposed to, but she's in love with the boy. She follows that boy to basically a pit of like a cult, Satanists, and she's like, oh shit, this is what bitch, you live like this. And she gets naked and let's just say gets down and dirty. Let's just say that. Also, I don't know. Okay, so she has something that she's scared of. That's coming out of her pussy, out of her cooter, out of her meat tunnel. And I always thought it was like a yeast infection. I always thought that she was like, she had like some type of disease. Apparently, it might be her period, which would make sense because this is more of a medieval. This is more of a medieval show, so it's like they probably don't have any treatment for that type of stuff. So, I thought that it was like a yeast infection or like her meat cavern was just disgusting. But no, it was probably just her period. Because she goes into the ocean sometimes and like lifts her dress up and to clean it, so it's probably a period. Because I'd argue that salt water makes yeast infections worse, but it's neither here nor there. Could be blue waffle. Remember that? Reddit 50/50? Anyway, sorry. Tangent. And she goes into the pit, she gets naked and everything, and all that. Casca accidentally wanted... So, something to note about Casca is that she's brain dead. It's revealed why she's brain dead. She has a disability. Her brain is on pilot mode. She is just... Her body is in control, her mind is not. She's brain dead. And it's revealed why later on. But before we get into that, she wanders in because, obviously, she's brain dead. And she wanders in, and immediately, all these creepy cultist men start trying to rape Casca. So much fucking rape in this show, dude. So disturbing. This anime is disturbing. But anyway, luckily, Mentor Woman attacks them and saves Casca. She slaps the ever-living shit out of Poodle Girl. And Poodle Girl's just like, why the fuck would you do that, you piece of shit? You ruined everything. But yeah, so that happens. Then Guts, I think this is season 2. How did they meet? I forgot. If I remember, Guts finds the village and Mentor Girl tells Casca to go with Guts and all of that. Then season 2 hits. Yeah, season 2 hits. First episode, we actually get to see Griffith for the first time. And he's saving a bunch of people, you know, trying to be so cool. He just aura farms the entire show, and it's annoying because he's the villain. But yeah, then midway through the season, because most of this series is just like random events. Season 2 is a bunch of random events. Actually, during the first half of season 2, they do meet a witch girl. Her name is Sharik, something like that. It starts with an S. It's an SH, but yeah. So that happens. And they meet the witch girl. She's pretty cool. She has a crush on Guts, which is weird. Weird storyline. But, yeah, so then that's the only eventful thing that really happens. Guts goes back to his old family farm, sees Griffith, and immediately wants to kill the ever-living hell out of Griffith. It's not specifically said what he did, but context clues can be given throughout the show what happened. But yeah, so Griffith is a bad person, Guts attacks, and then everybody's just asking why he's attacking Griffith. I thought you loved Griffith, yada yada yada. And Guts tells the family about why he's attacking Griffith. They all agree that he's a bad person. And yeah, so there's that. And then we don't see Griffith anymore. Other than Guts, I think, gets badly injured from one of Griffith's people, and then he's given armor that like heals him. It's kind of like the Venom symbiote, where it damages you, but it also heals you. So the upside is that Guts is able to move again and fight again. Bad news is if he tastes blood, he's gonna go Insano style. He's gonna lose his shit, and the reason why that's dangerous is because the wolf creature is like there's a wolf inside of him, and it's out for blood, and I think it's attracted to Casca, because I think earlier in season 2, before all of this happened, if I remember, he had to take care of Casca alone, and he tries to fuck Casca because they have history, and we'll talk about that in the wider review. But yeah, so that happens. He has armor. He's attacking Griffith and everything. Griffith gets away. Asshole. But then the series is weird because then we don't get anything after that whole exchange. They went to a town at one point after the Griffith fight, and no, wait. Okay, so they went to this holy place, which is where Farnese lived. They fought a bunch of Christians. But there's like these demon people who infiltrated and started just slaughtering the Christians, and then Guts had to fight the apostle, and that was a hard fight. Is it Farnese who meets? I think it's Farnese who meets Death. Yeah, it's Farnese who meets Death in this like weird twisted character. But yeah, so that was a pretty good fight. This guy was fucking creepy. I thought that he was Judge from the like one of those disturbing books, but no, he's not. So then after that they find Griffith, they fight and everything. Griffith gets away. And then that's basically it. The series just ends with them in like a certain town that it's called the City of People. And yeah, so sorry if this was messy. It's a very hard anime to like follow because there's just like so many random things to fight. Like there's no wider story. I mean, there is a wider story, but most of the episodes are just like, oh, random fight with this enemy, and then oh, a new enemy approaches, fight that thing. It's a very weird anime. Let's get into the pros. I liked the characters, and I liked the story. The characters were actually kind of likable, not gonna lie. A lot of them have their flaws, a lot of them have their pros. I like every character. I did not have one character who I hated. Actually, no. Frisk. I fucking hated Frisk. The blonde hair guy with his eyes constantly closed. I hated him. He just got in the way of everything, and it's so confusing what him and Ferneze's dynamic is because, like, he called her sister at one point, yet it's shown that he and Ferneze had interest in each other. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, he's just the worst part of the show. But other than that, every character was decent. I actually liked almost every single character. Even the lesser known ones, except for Griffith. Griffith can suck a cock. The fighting was fun. Yeah, it was just this overall good anime, dude. But let's get into the cons. Again, one of the things that I was literally just talking about. I wish there was more story, because you kind of just have to piece it all together yourself. And they never give you definitive answers to what happened. But context clues give the wider story. A lot of rape. Just a lot of rape. I wish that there was a lot more, like, dark, like, murder and, like, a child died or something like that. But no, there was just so much rape in it. There was so much rape. And it was just, wow, dude. There's even child rape, like, in one of the last 2 episodes of season 2. I think a group of guys were about to rape a group of kids, and just, oh god, dude, it was just so much rape in this show. Unneeded rape, but you know, it's whatever. It's fine. It's not fine, but it's whatever. Animation. Let's talk about that, because 2016 got a lot of shit, and that's ultimately why it got canceled. I also forgot to mention that every single adaptation of Berserk does not cover the entire anime. Yeah, it does not cover the entire anime. It goes up to, I don't even know what the arcs are, but yeah. So, needless to say, I'm probably never gonna watch another Berserk, because the thing is that the reason that nobody adapts the entire series of Berserk is because even the original manga of Berserk is not finished because the creator died. So, you know, that complicates things. So, I might not I was going to review the 1997, but then like when I heard that none of the shows cover everything of Berserk, I was like, oh, okay, so there's no reason to even watch the anime. But yeah, so that's another flaw, is that it's just it's not finished, and it'll never be finished, which is, it's unfortunate, dude, but it makes sense because the creator died. So like, probably out of respect, they're like, hey, let's not do this anymore. It also got canceled because of the animation, which, I mean, here's the thing, is that I didn't mind the animation all that much. It was a bit jarring, the animation style. Like, okay, remember Max Steel? It had that feeling. It had that kind of animation where it's like, it looks like it's meant to be 2D, but it's 3D. So, yeah. But the animation was fine for the most part. It was okay. It wasn't like, oh, let's boycott this anime levels of bad. It was just decent. It wasn't bad animation. I didn't mind the 3D animation. But it was a little bit jarring because there's some scenes that are like 2D and like the usual. It was like the usual kind of anime where it's like, oh, it's kind of like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure style of 2D animation, but like then it goes to 3D, and it's just like so jarring. But I do like how they incorporate the 3D style with like the funny anime chibi kind of look. It is a little bit weird because the fairies switch from like normal looking people to like these chibi fairies, and it's just like, the animation is so odd. Now, let's talk about the story. What happened? Why is Guts so mad at Griffith? Again, in the anime, in the 2016 anime, it doesn't explicitly tell you what Griffith did to Casca. However, context clues make it sound like Griffith raped Casca horribly. Because at the end of the series, there is a metaphor, I'd honestly say a metaphor for a white hawk, Griffith, a black kite, Guts, and then the princess swan, that's Casca. And the princess swan is in a arranged marriage with the white hawk, and the black hawk hated that. And then obviously I believe Griffith rapes and is highly abusive to Casca to the point where she is brain dead. Yeah. Griffith broke Casca so much to the point that Casca is brain dead. That's what I collected from it. I could be completely wrong, but Guts is in love with Casca. Casca was forced to marry Griffith, and Griffith went along with it, knowing that Guts was in love with Casca, and then all of that stuff went down. So, yeah. So overall, this anime was actually good. I mean, it kept me invested for a whole month straight. So, like, you know, you can actually get this series done pretty quickly. If you just Doom watched it, you could probably get it done in less than 24 hours. Each episode is either 24 to 25 minutes, and most of those minutes are used for the intro and the outro. So if you skip those, you really have only like 15 minutes of screen time, and then you're on to the next episode. The series is fun. I did like most of the stuff in the show. And even the stuff that I didn't like weren't even that bad, really. So, honestly, the show gets a 5.5 to 6 out of 10. I liked it. It's just there's only like 2 things that are bad about it, but other than that, the series was really, really good. Anyway, sorry this was messy. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on notifications, and yeah, see you guys later.